wanted to create a space where we could have meaningful conversation, provide insight, and connect with listeners on a deeper level, so we brainstormed ideas and the podcast was born, Let's Sip and Chat. Welcome, friends. You are listening to Let's Sip and Chat, where we talk and laugh about relatable and often unexpected real life. And this is your host.
You guys' kids, and I'll do anything for them.
I think you're like the only uncle Lisa and Allie have. Well, that they didn't know of.
And I love them, and like I said, and I'm trying not to cry now, but growing up, none of my uncles were there for me. They never, try to stop my dad or try to tell him, hey, bro, you need to step up. Hey, you need to get a job. Yeah. Stop drinking. Take care of your kids.
Stop hitting them.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So, to be here for these kids,
yeah,
I have to be. I feel like I'm almost obligated, or it has to. I have to.
Yeah.
I'll be there for them.
It's that first child thing that you have, because that's how I feel about my sisters and my nieces and my nephews. Like, I have to protect you guys. Yeah. I have to be there for you guys at all times. Is because since we were kids, we basically went from being a kid to now you're an adult, and now you're gonna step into the fatherly or motherly role, and you're gonna take care of everybody.
Yeah.
You did that. I did that. Like my mom still to this day doesn't speak English. So for me it was like, you're doing doctor's appointments, everything that I can't do, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it's just
That's a lot.
Us being that childhood got stripped from us, and just becoming that adult right away.
And
now you still do it.
Exactly. And it's funny because growing up, Monique and Daniel, they would call me a snitch. They'd call me all these things. But it was because I'm not getting in trouble for you.
Yeah.
If my mom says you don't leave the house, you don't leave the house.
Yeah.
And I can recall, I told my mom one night, I said, hey, they snuck out again. I said, but they'll be back. I said, no, but you're sleeping with me. Come on. So we're sleeping. Next thing you know, there's a knock at the window. And my mom says, Rudy, there's somebody out the window. I said, yeah, it's your kids. She goes, no, it's not. I said, go look at the window. She opens it up, there's Monique and Daniel standing right there. Knocking at my window because they wanted me to let them in.
Sorry.
And she, get your book in the house. Yeah, and she just starts screaming. I was like, and then they get mad at me. Yeah. But I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
I have to snitch on you, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm looking out for you guys.
It's going to happen. I'm not getting beat up, and I'm not getting in trouble for you.
Yeah.
And that's just what it would have to be. But Leala, she doesn't get it because she is a middle child, and she's always saying, your parents shouldn't have put that much pressure on you. It's too bad.
It doesn't work out.
You're the first child. That's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, you're going to get some kind of blame in anything.
Yeah.
You're
older. You should know better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should have watched them.
Yep.
I didn't know it was my job, but it's your fault.
Now that you're saying about being the oldest, it kind of makes sense now, because my sister did tell on me a few times, but I will never tell on her.
Right.
Ever. I have her back 100%.
Like she said, it comes back to you. If she did something wrong, it's your fault.
I never did none of that with my sister Leah. Like, I never snitched on her, but she was good. I was the one that would have been on the other side, like, let me in, Like, I wasn't the best role model. I mean, like, I became my mom's equal, but then as I got older, I felt like by the time I reached 13, I just rebelled. I was like, you don't love me, you only have time for your other kids, and if you don't love me and you don't got no time for me, and my dad's not around, then I can just do me. So that's how
hyper independent.
So then I was like, and if you see me as an adult, then I'm an adult. I can go on the street, I can do me, I can, I didn't even sneak out the window. Like, I would just open the door and go out the front door, and then just come back and knock on the door, on the window, and be like, hey, let me in, because they locked all the doors, you know? But, yeah, I think I was my mom's, like, roughest child, that's for sure.
But at the end of the day, we have to find that healing. We have to forgive whatever it is that's on our hearts. That's stopping us from loving our other person.
Or little peoples.
Or our little people. Because they are what really matter.
Yeah.
Because if I can't love Leala to the fullest, I'm cheating her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still worried about my dad or my brother or anybody else that I shouldn't be worried about.
Yeah.
when I'm supposed to be here,
Right.
loving her, taking care of us.
Right.
That's why we really have to forgive, and we really have to, accept that whatever happens to anybody else is what happens to them.
Yeah.
But I have to focus on her and show her the love that she needs. Because if I don't, what's this marriage for?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
And vice versa.
And it's like a domino effect. Like once, it's like once someone gets saved in the house, the whole house gets saved, and it's a domino effect. You start like your inner healing starts, and next thing you know, it's like your sisters, your brothers, like your mom, because that's what's happening in my house. It's like it went from me to now my sister got baptized. Now she's having her healing.
Yeah.
My mom's reading her word, and she's like apologizing for things that I'm like, whoa, like okay. So I feel like everybody's like healing, but everybody, because I mean, like, I wasn't the best child. Like, I was a really, I don't want to say I was bad. I was just like lonely and didn't feel love. So I did a lot of things that I'm like, my mom was probably like, I need to forgive you for that stuff too, So I feel like that's happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't want to be, the world is just getting, I feel like worse and worse, And I'm like, I don't want to be walking around with this world falling apart.
If we're not choosing to forgive and to walk it out the way that it was shown us in the Bible, then we're in a sense not even walking with him. We're choosing to be unforgiving. We're choosing to not do it his way. We're basically kind of denying the work that Jesus did and the fact that God loves us. Like, we're denying those things if we're not walking differently. Like you said, like, the world is getting worse, and like, how are we supposed to be different if we're just broken with everybody? Not to say that we're perfect, because there's only one that's perfect, but at least we're trying and like to walk it out.
You're reading like your word and you're applying it. Because people read it, because I've had so many people say, oh yeah, like I know this and that. I'm like, okay, but why don't you apply it?
The devil knows
like,
what to do.
Apply it, And all I'm trying to do is just apply it.
Yeah.
Because I just want to love other people.
And obedience is huge.
Because I am a people person. I do love people.
I'm not.
So what about, okay, so we talk about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then sometimes what happens is that we want to change that other person, and then bitterness comes in. Right? So now we forgave, but then we're walking around with a bitter heart. Like, what does that look like for us, For me, I'll just say I had a personal journey where I forgave my parents, but there was still bitterness in my heart because I'm like, God, they're not changing. Why? I can't control that. And I think in my mind, I thought I can control that, right? I can, and I don't even know where I even thought I could, but like, God, why aren't you doing it? How do I know he's not doing it? How do I know he's not doing something in them? They love him too. He loves them. They're his children. But I had to decide, okay, you forgave. Now let go of the bitterness in your heart, that bitter taste in your mouth about it. Because you're kind of tying God's hands, saying, why aren't you doing something? I don't know that he's not doing something. How do I know? I don't. So I had to also let go of the bitterness. So learning to let go of that. So have any of you had that personal experience as well? Is like having a bitter place outside of forgiveness?
I don't think I've experienced.
I feel
No.
Yeah. Some do, some don't.
yeah.
That's just,
I
think it's a
have
hard issue.
experience where I'm like, I have experience where I'm like, okay, we need to forgive. Like, Mom, you need to let go of that. Where I'm trying to tell other people, like, let go of that. And I'm like, then I had to tell myself, well, you got to let them go when they're ready. And God says it's time. Like, don't push it on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to check that in because I'm like, you understand, it's free over here. Like, it's free. And you're choosing to live like that. But then I got to remind myself, like, forgiveness and healing is on everybody's own time and your relationship with God, because ultimately we are only healed by him.
Yeah.
So I got to remind myself of that.
Yeah. How do you deal with forgiveness? How did you deal with forgiveness then versus now?
Oh no, before I was just not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
I was just going to do me, not talk to you, forget you. I don't even care if you would die or alive. Like, whatever.
See,
That's how you felt.
That's how I
That's
dealt with
crazy.
that was my forgiveness back then. Like, just stay out of my way, and that's it.
I was the opposite. Forgiving everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh, they did something to me. A week later, I'd be like, okay, I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
But did you really forgive him, or you just say like, yeah, I forgive you?
I think I really did, because I like would never bring it up again.
Holy cow, that's like a superpower.
Wait, hold on. With like friendships, with like friends, but with like exes, I was always bringing stuff up. I didn't fully forgive, but I was like, okay, I'll let it go, but I'm not 100% forgiving you.
Yeah.
For it.
I will forgive you, but I won't forget it, huh? Yeah.
We used to do a thing growing up, when we would just like, it was kind of scripted in a sense, where it's like, oh, I forgive you, forgive me, and then like we kind of would go on, and so I can only speak from my side of this. I just kind of, it just became a thing. Like, you just say it, but there was no, like, meaning behind it. And I still had, like, unforgiveness. So I'm like, this is dumb. Like, this doesn't work.
Routine?
Yeah, it was like a routine, exactly. And yet, I still had all these questions or all these things that I felt, so I would forgive. But it was just like a blanket thing. And now I'm to the point where it's like, no, I genuinely forgive. Like, I feel peace. I feel love. I don't feel resentment towards those people or, you know, the situation anymore.
Right.
But that's how I did it then. And then now it's completely different. Like, it's not a routine anymore. It's like, I genuinely want to forgive in my heart.
That's good.
And have peace, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's very big.
How about you?
Forgiveness not easy.
I never forgave. I mean, especially with like my siblings and stuff, like with Monique and Daniel. I mean, we would fight, argue, whatever, and then 20 minutes later we would just act like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even with you when we first started dating or whatever, I would just, you call it sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
I just call it whatever.
I used to say, you
That's
keep
like
sweeping
the
it under the
most
rug.
dangerous.
Right? I'm like, you keep sweeping it under the rug, and now there's this huge pile, and now you're going to start tripping over it. I used to always say that.
And out of
That
nowhere,
is true, though.
out of nowhere, they just blow up, huh? And everything that happened like 3 months ago, you're like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and so now I'm glad I know now to just talk about it and forgive and, you know, still let it go. I don't want to hang on to it.
Yeah.
You know, to anything, any kind of animosity, any kind of anger or hatred or anything, because it's not good for you and your heart and your body and around others.
And it really does make you sick.
It does.
Yeah. I also learned, like, I was that type of person, like, let's talk about it, let's get this done now, because I think before it was so routine and fabricated that I'm like, I want this to be authentic in my marriage now, and da-da-da-da-da. But, like, I also wasn't being respectful of him, like, he needs time. He needs time to think about it. He needs to, like, step away. And I'm like, you don't love me? And, like, you don't want to talk about these things? But, because I want to do it right then and there. But that's not how he is, you know? So a part of that, like, journey too was learning that he takes time to figure this out.
My goodness.
I feel like that's how I am. Like, I want to...
Like that?
Well, no. Like, I want to let you know how I feel right then and there, because then I'm just going to hold it in and I'm just going to be mad at you. And I won't talk to you. So I have to let you know how I feel. But then I still get mad.
Yeah.
So that must be a girl thing. Like, let's hash it out right now because I need you to know how I feel. Because Daniel does that. Daniel's like, stop following me. Leave me alone. I need to process. And I'm like, but you process and you get more pissed. And then you want to come at me when it's like a week later when I can care less.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, no, we need to hash that out right now.
So there's different ways that guys and girls handle.
And I'm like, you don't love me? You can't talk to me? Like, what's your problem, you know? Yeah. And then later on, a week later, Daniel was like, oh, this happened, and you don't care no more. And I'm like, yeah, it's a week later, I really don't. And then that creates a whole nother problem,
Seriously.
you know?
That's so true. Another thing that I think that we can talk about is, like, leaking out on others. So if you haven't forgiven someone, and it shows, like, the way you interact with people, and, like, it's leaking out on other people, like, how do we stop that? Or what does that look like for us, you know? And how does that affect other people that are, like, in the midst of it?
Like, when you haven't forgave someone and you're just...
It's just showing in everything that you do. and in your like conversations or interactions with others?
Well, whatever you haven't forgive from the last person, you're definitely gonna take it out on the next person if they do something wrong to you. Like it's a domino effect.
Or like in
If you're not like if you get mad at me, and then Layla does something to you, then you're gonna take all the anger you have towards me on Layla, and then Layla's gonna be like, you know what, Hannah did this, Rudy did it, and then she's gonna go and take it out on Rudy because everybody's just it's a domino effect.
It really is.
That's why that unforgiveness will destroy a whole family. It'll take a whole family down.
Yeah.
How do you see, like, for instance, my dad's family, they're a family of 19 kids.
Wow.
Okay? And when my grandparents passed away, everybody's fighting over the money. It's been like 20 years since they passed. And it's like cliques. They don't talk. Like, these aunts only talk to these aunts, and these aunts don't talk. And it's all this unforgiveness, all these things that they said amongst each other that got out. And then it's just a bunch of unforgiveness that just breaks a whole family down. And the enemy, that's how he takes families down.
Yeah.
He separates and conquers. And he's just like, if I keep you in bondage by not forgiving the other person, I can take your entire family down, and not just you guys, your entire generation to come. Because like Rudy said, if you're not good, if you're not forgiving, you're not going to be a good parent, you're not going to be a good brother, a good husband, a good wife. You can't do life right because you're living in bondage. You're literally a slave to not forgiving, you know? And the devil thrives on that. Like, he has how many years of experience?
Right.
Like, so decades and decades of just doing this. But I mean, that's how the world is right now. That's why they say, you know, when you start living by the word of God, you're walking with him, and then there's a world, and then everybody is just doing what the world tells you. Like, listen to your heart, do you, don't worry about nobody, just think about yourself. And the Bible tells you to do, like, basically to serve others, you know? Like, it just, everything the world tells you is the opposite of what God tells you.
Yeah.
You know, and the not forgiving, it just takes everybody down.
And it doesn't, there's no peace when you don't forgive. So
Literally
like
no peace.
when we choose to forgive, now we're walking with peace. Like the peace of God is in our hearts. And then now we're not leaking on other people, and we're not, you know, having to go and ask for forgiveness because the way you were acting out because you had the unforgiveness. It's like a vicious cycle, and that's something we choose to break, and then we get the peace of God.
Yep.
Yeah. What about control? Like, because I think we talked about choosing to forgive, and like how we relinquish the control of it, because we could also want to be in control of that situation. Like, no, you hurt me, so I'll make you pay.
So you have to do this.
So you need to, yeah, and I'm gonna keep doing this and keep driving the point home because I want to control the situation now, which we know is demonic. But let's talk about it, like, because it's really a thing.
So control for me is something that I'm learning to, like, give up. Like, control. And everything, like, everything you can think of. Like, I want to control everything. Not because I'm a bad person, but it's because so many years of being a little kid and not having no control over where I was going, who I was going to stay with, what was my next day going to look like, that my safety mechanism is to control. Yeah, so the control thing is definitely something that I'm trying to, well, not just me, I'm asking God to help me to, like, give up the control. Because control is something that not only, like, it affects my marriage, because down sometimes, like, you're so controlling, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, and over little things, you know. And
it's a journey.
Definitely, like, forgiveness, I feel like, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but releasing control has been one of the hardest things, because I'm still doing it. You know.
Yeah, I catch myself doing that too sometimes, like little things, like I think hyper perfectionism,
or like how you do things.
Yeah,
like you want the other person to do exactly
how you do it, and it's like, no, like they're not wired that way.
Rudy's like, you don't gotta tell me.
So I have to, like, step back and be like, oh no, you can't control that thing, because you're gonna create some resentment in your marriage. There's not gonna be peace. There's gonna be chaos, and it's just like a trickle effect. All these things. So it's like, let's choose to let go of the control, girl, because it does not work for you.
Probably a girl thing then.
Is it a girl thing, or do you find yourself doing
No, I don't really control anything. I feel like one of the kids, like, oh, don't touch that, or don't leave that there.
Oh,
pick this up. And it's like, well, all right.
No, but do you feel like you're, like, easygoing, or do you feel like you tell Leala, like, don't do that? Like, there's certain things that you want to control.
I think things from our past happen for instance, like when it comes to finances, that's something that you want more control over. Maybe.
Well, yeah, because I'm not spending things that I shouldn't be spending things on.
I know that.
I mean, the only thing, like, especially when we first got married and we first moved in with each other, there was a lot of control on both sides because we both wanted things done differently. Like, I remember telling her, don't fold my underwear because I don't like the way you fold it. I'll fold them the way I want to fold them. You know, and now it's like, well, I don't care. Sometimes I'll still look at them like, what's she doing like that? So you know, and now I was like, I still try not to care, but, you know, when we first moved in, it was big time. You know, there was two controlling people trying to control a household and what we can do. And
Two very unhealed people.
Yeah. Yes.
Dang. At least I'm not the only one with control.
Yeah.
No.
Cause
And that's something I work on daily.
Because I'm like that about everything. And downstairs, I drive him nuts. And I'm like, how do I not like do that anymore?
Me now, it's mostly like with the kids.
Mm.
Like I want him to do it just how I do it. Like when I make them food or just everything.
Yeah.
Clothes, everything.
Just the kids or like anything around your house?
It could be anything too. It depends.
Yeah.
Like it could be any little thing too.
I feel like when I do that though, he's like, it creates resentment towards me. So I was like that too. Like I want everything to be done the way I want it. But then it's like, he's his own person. And like, I have to be okay with how he does it. As long as it gets done, I guess at this point, that's all that matters. It doesn't have to be the way I want it to be done. And that was hard. That was hard realizing that and letting that go.
I'm an
Like,
OCD person.
Yesterday
so.
I was in the kitchen when I'm always in the kitchen when he's in the kitchen making food.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching. Or like I have to be
Guilty.
I don't know why I do that. I was like, I need to stop doing this. Because then he's like, get out of here. And I'm like, and then I go back and go see what he's doing.
Well,
Like, you're not cutting, that's
to,
not how you're supposed to cut the onion.
You have to watch him because he'll put a whole rack of ribs on the rack
Oh my gosh.
in the oven.
Holy cow.
That was only once, guys.
Amelia Bedelia.
I do that because like I'm OCD. That's something that I've like literally have gotten better about because I was extremely bad when I was younger. But my OCD, I'll be like, okay, now you were doing something with the pepper over here, and look,
It's everywhere.
look,
You're
look,
cleaning
look.
right after them.
Yeah, but
Right
now
when they're
it's
done using
pissed
something
when I do
for-
that.
Yeah.
He literally says,
I do
get out of the
that.
kitchen, get out of the kitchen, because he knows that I'm just like, and I told myself, dude, you need to knock that off because that would drive me nuts if somebody was hovering over me, looking at my every move, like.
Yeah.
That's what
But
I
that's
do.
only happening because the whole healing and all
Yeah.
that stuff's taking place, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you
because you're
shouldn't do
more
that.
aware.
Yeah, before I would not even care.
Yeah. You're just like,
I just be like, I don't care, get out of the
Yep.
kitchen, I'll do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to stop doing that because my sister does that to me when I go to her house.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't even leave a glass of water
Oh,
on
yeah,
her
she's
table because
OCD?
then it'll disappear. I don't know where she put it back in the sink. So I was like, why? I'm still drinking it. So
She thought you were done. She's like, no, you're done.
She's like, where's the coaster? Look
I
at
always
this
tell her,
ring.
I'm like, you're always cleaning right after me. It's like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But then I do it to Dominic.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
But you're aware now,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah.
How crazy
Nice,
do you think
but-
we are? You think we're crazy?
No.
Smart answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody has their own ways.
Especially girls.
Yeah.
But guys are not like that, right?
I don't know. Are guys like that? Maybe some
I
might
think
be.
they're just
Right? Maybe.
maybe some.
Rudy's like, no, I don't care.
I
Just fold my underwear the way I like them.
Dom is mostly just like whatever.
Just not the ones that we roll with.
Right?
Yeah.
So also, unforgiveness can lead to sickness and disease, even cancer. And there's some verses in the Bible that talk about this, and even from from the Hopkins Medical website, it talks about like chronic anger can put you in a fight or flight mode, which results in numerous changes in heart rate, blood pressure, immune response. Those changes then can increase the risk of depression, heart disease, diabetes, and other conditions. Forgiveness, however, calms stress levels and leads to improved health. So not only from a biblical standpoint, from a medical standpoint, unforgiveness leads to sickness and disease. And so that's something that I don't want. I don't want to be unforgiving so that I'm sick. So if we forgive deeply, then the healing comes, the peace comes, the joy comes, and we can stand in those things. So we have to decide to forgive. Once we make that choice, it seals within us an action. So forgiveness is an action. It's something that you have to do. If you don't feel like you can talk to the person who wronged you, you can write about it. So you can journal. You can even talk to someone else whom you might trust in life. And then more importantly, you can talk to God about it because he wants to hear all about it.
But don't you just talk to anybody?
Right.
Because you got to talk to the right people. You got to
Someone
talk to
that you
people.
trust.
Not just trust, but like somebody that is like on the path, walking with Jesus. Because
that's good.
you go talk to just anybody, and they'll pump you up, and then next thing you know, you're way more mad than you were when you first walked in. Because you're getting worldly advice. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
You know.
That is true.
Oh, and then you forgive, you get less wrinkles because you're happy.
Except for the smile lines. Have you ever been affected by physical illness because of unforgiveness? Or has there been someone in your life that you've seen this play out because of unforgiveness?
I don't know if
I don't know anymore.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what it is that my dad has gone through in his life. I don't know if it's. I assume it's some kind of unforgiveness. I don't know if that's what drove him to drink so much, because I know that's what happened to me. Growing up, I was an angry young man. There was so much on my mind, so many things, which then I started drinking, and then it just spiraled out of control to where I was at the liquor store at 6 in the morning, drinking all day, all night, and so that was some kind of sickness. That's the sickness that I had. And it wasn't just any beer, it was anything and everything. Malt liquor, hard alcohol. And I didn't really like clubs, I didn't like bars. I drank by myself.
Yeah.
I'd go home. I mean, Leala knows. There was my 21st birthday, and there was like 6 40s of King Cobra, and I drank every single one of them.
Oh, you messed up.
Cobra.
Messed up with half a cup.
And within like the hour or two.
Wow.
And it was pretty heavy, but like I said, that was the anger that I had.
Yeah.
That was the unforgiveness that I had. That was the
Numbing the pain.
Numbing the pain for
drowning
sure.
out the memories.
Yeah.
It never goes away because
It
you
never
just
goes
sober
away.
up and then it goes again. It's like a cycle, It doesn't just bring sickness to your families. It also brings addiction into families.
It's opening
Unforgiveness.
that door.
Yeah, it's just, I've seen people not look good. I feel like one of my aunts, I'm like, she also has like a drinking problem. But I'm like, unforgiveness and resentment will make you look way older than you truly are. Like it really does eat you away. And then you can literally, you can tell when people are like super bitter. Like that just like, it kind of like, you can almost like smell that coming off of them. Because you can, just the way they look and act and everything like you were saying. But just one of my aunts, that's who I'm like, you need a lot of like, you need to let go of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I used to be so stressed out. I lost sight in my left side of my eye, worrying about things.
Big cow.
And being so stressed out. And so that was all before walking into this healing journey. And constantly going to the doctor and they're like, oh, it's just stress, you need to minimize your stress. But I didn't realize that that can lead to something way worse. Once I started losing eyesight, I was like, no, this is not good. I need to choose to forgive. I need to heal. And my eyesight came back because I asked the Lord to just show me what it was and stuff. But it started to affect my own body, having that unforgiveness. And then I've had relatives pass away with cancer and stuff. And did they forgive? Did you get that chance? Is that why? Because you have all these questions. So I just think for me, I don't want cancer. I don't want there to be just this cancer in your body of unforgiveness to the point where it literally kills you.
Yeah.
It's that serious, to walk with forgiveness.
Right.
No, I just really wanted to encourage my brothers, Daniel and Dominic. Maybe they can find some kind of spark to come out here and join these beautiful women.
Thank you, Rudy.
And say, and get the word out there. Maybe they'll find some kind of courage.
And other men, not just them too.
Well, yeah, I hope that they will find a way to make their way over here and sip and chat.
Yes.
So that's a wrap. Stay tuned for next week's episode where we'll be chatting about religion versus relationship. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if you've liked what you heard. Your feedback keeps us going.
And make sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms to stay updated on all things Let's Sip and Chat.